the thing that's annoyed me, I think, over the years is you're lummoxed into two categories. You're either a scrounger, benefit scrounger, worthless, you're not doing anything, or you're an inspiration, and they want you to be a Paralympian. They want you to be climbing.
Yeah, I actually had somebody say that to me. What? Last year when we was at this wedding.
Get a blade or something.
Yeah, she goes.
Oh, yeah, I've had that.
Yeah, she goes. What leg you got? Well, she goes. Well, first of all, she said, you know this bloke who's a famous runner. Right? No, sorry.
The one who killed
no, I knew who he was. I'm more likened to him, do you know what I mean? But then the other one's doing running. I'd be the killer. But no, she said this bloke's name. I said, oh, I don't know who he is. And she was like horrified.
Johnny Peacock? That's the British.
Has he got one leg missing?
Yeah. He was on like Strictly a couple of years ago as well.
Oh, it might have been him. Yeah, it might have been him. And I didn't know who he was. And she was horrified.
I think he's left.
And then she says, oh, let's look at your leg. I've got a long dress up. She lifted my dress up. Yes.
That's just like me saying to you, let me see your tits.
Yeah. Yeah. She lifted my leg up and she went, oh, very disappointed. I thought you'd have a blade. And I went, right. She went, I ever thought about training for the Paralympic? Literally, I was sat there because she's a relative of my relative who's getting married. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them where already I would put myself out of the way of people because I don't want to say something I shouldn't be saying when I've had a drink or whatever. So I was already, backing myself away.
But also, you know, when people say to you, oh, what happened? I've got to the point where I'm like, I do not have to tell every single person I meet what's happened to me, because in a way you almost have to make them feel better for the fact that they're coming up against an amputee. Do you know what I mean? By saying, I've just had it since I was 3, I'm fine. And I don't have to do that anymore. No. Because
the thing is I don't mind that, because the thing is I get treated in 2 different ways. So we'll go and do a speech, everyone's coming up to you, high five, Do you know what I mean? You're the best. And I'm like, yeah, bring it on. And then we could go to the shop. I'll ask someone a question at the service station. If I'm in the wheelchair and they'll answer Dave, and you go like, you're like, hang on a minute. Yeah. I was a celebrity a minute ago, and now what? I'm in a coma.
You're not worthy of talking to.
Do you know what I mean? I'm in a coma.
Do you get? Are you you're an inspiration? Do you get that a lot?
Yeah.
How does
I
sit
that.
with you? Do you like it?
This is my favourite thing today. Praise me about anything that I do. Praise me.
And we had it, especially at the start when Lisa was just becoming amputee. We'd go to the shop and we'd say, oh, we forgot to get this, or I'll pop you there, I'll go and get it. And then I'd go back and you've got some old woman.
Oh yeah, this woman went like that. Oh. I was like that.
And you can see
I said to him, I wanted to drop kick her. Do you know what I mean? If she hadn't been an old woman, I'd drop kicked her through the shoulder. Honestly. It was like, it's one of them where they're so extreme, their responses, that you're like, oh my God, even I'm like, I don't even know how to respond to this, because literally, or you'll go past them and they'll be like, oh, what a shame. You're like, have you ever had that?
Before we had the amputation, Mum and Dad were deciding whether or not to keep the foot, which would mean it would be a built-up shoe for life, or to amputate, right? Mum was quite big into the church at the time, and she went and she said, oh, Paul and I have got to make this decision, and they were like, don't take the amputation, we will start a prayer group and we will pray for her. And my mum was like, fuck this shit, she said, we're doing the amputation. And then when I was growing up then, they'd go, oh, God, what a shame. But isn't it all right, though, because she's pretty? What the fuck has that got to do with it? But it's, oh, what a shame. Oh, but it's okay because she looks all right. What is that about? And then I'd just be there, like, waddling away, like, probably naked, running down.
You'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah,
then your mum's like, sorry about that. Yeah. That is because the foot's been amputated.
She's allowed to get away with that.
The mistake is you think all disabled people are
They're not gonna
nice.
say anything.
Oh, I'm not.
Yes.
Hello.
We're actually complete at
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true.
Because I had it
It's
once,
so
right?
true.
I had it when I was in Derby Town Centre. I was waiting for Dave yet, and this girl came up with 2 blokes. She went, there's your girlfriend. And I'd got no leg on. I jumped up. I said, what did you say, bitch? Do you know what I mean? She was like, what? I said, I'm fucking in a wheelchair, not deaf. And she was like, and the lads were like, what? Because I thought, I'll knock you out.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try anyway. I wouldn't be able to drop kick with one leg, would I? But it really, really wound me up. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause I thought, are you for real?
Yeah.
And people do think you can't hear.
They do.
And I just don't get that. Who's doing the speeches is like counselling.
Yeah.
It's just like the CBT that I was doing, where it's repetitive thinking.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing is, if Dave gets on my nerves or whatever, and I think, I hate you, he'll go and do a speech and I think, oh, I love you. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a reminder that flipping out, he was there for me and went through a lot, and people don't see that side of what it's like for that other person when they're going through stuff. You know,
that was the most moving thing for me writing it, was the impact on the wider family and everybody else.
Yeah.
And to try and give equal weight in terms of the emotion in the story to different people, not just the core character.
But I tell you what, his speech, it took quite a few times for me to watch it without crying, because I got no clue. Yeah, I got no clue whatsoever what he was going through. Not at all. And if I had known, I probably wouldn't have cared. Because it's happened to me. What are you moaning about? You don't see what's... And the thing is as well, is you buy into that because everybody else is the same as well. So when people visit you, you're right, Dave, but that's it. They ain't really got time to chat to you. They've come to see me. And so you buy into that it's me. You don't realise that
the impact is hard.
Yeah. I mean, I now think that my mum really should have had counselling.
Yeah.
I really do. Because she... Whereas I separate before and after, she still sees before. Sure. And so it's really hard for her. So if something happens, it takes her back to square one. I mean, we went to this exercise class, and you know, you put them elastic bands in between your legs. Well, I only put one foot in, and I put the fake foot on the elastic band. And I looked at my mum, it's just the way she looked at me as if to say, you're not even doing it properly. Right, so I thought, I'll have to put the other foot in. I went to put the other foot in, I was facing that way, I spun round, I ended up flat on my back. I started laughing because I thought, oh my God, hello, there's loads of people in here. The instructor, who I've been going to her classes for a bit, carried on, never even acknowledged it at all. My mum, I said, don't do it. I was shouting at her, I thought, don't start crying. She was like, and then afterwards, went for a coffee, she said, it's moments like that bring it back to me. And I said, yeah, but Mum, I fell over. If you fell over, I'll laugh. I'm not going to start crying about it. That's how you need to look at it. I mean, I don't know whether you fall over.
I had no sympathy when I was growing up, because I had my amputation at 3.
Really?
So I was very, very young, and it was because of a congenital deformity at birth. So basically my foot was pointing up towards my body, hadn't formed properly.
Jesus, have you got any photos?
Yeah, I should...
I should have brought them.
I've been home.
Because that would be very strange.
I've been up here all week, so like everything.
So like that?
Yeah, well, it was kind of like, so these are the toes, and it was all mushy at the ankles, so it was all kind of coming back. So they tried straightening it for 3 years with a splint, but it didn't work, because they thought it was club foot, which you can straighten.
Right.
So they chopped it off at 3. And we were talking about it this week, actually, because I've been with Mum, and when I used to fall over and then be in pain, because my knee used to dislocate as well, because I had a lack of ligaments around the knee. Come on, get up, you're fine, come on, get up. And it was always this, Mum and Dad, you're fine, come on, get up. And other people would go, oh my God, is she all right?
Yeah.
No, it's like, come on, get up, get on with it. And then it's only been in my 20s when we've kind of gone through, I think, a bit of processing stuff that happened when I was a kid that we hadn't done before. She was like, oh, I'm really sorry. She said I was a bit harsh with you. I was like, yeah, you were. The thing
is, is that it goes it's one extreme to the other, isn't it? It's like one extreme to the other. Like my mum will assume I can't do it. I mean, one thing that my mum says all the time, it's like, really? Oh, I wonder if you can just buy one shoe. That's what she says constantly. It's like, well, actually you can. There's a bloke on Facebook, I think he's called Oddfoot or something. Really? And all the amputees send the ones who don't wear legs, send their other shoe to him.
Nice.
But it's like, right, I wear a leg, so I need 2 shoes, love. I need 2 shoes, you know, and so that is a constant thing that my mum says.
Yeah.
But I went through a thing where it's like, once I was over it, it's like, yeah, everyone else needs to get over it now. I'm over it. Stop dragging me back down. But it's very difficult. I think it's more difficult for those around you to accept what's happened. Or
you've gone through this trauma. Your mind and your body are almost like two separate entities, aren't they? They're not working together.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, do you get phantom limb pain?
No.
Oh, what a bitch.
I get a pain at my stump every now and then.
Right, is that electric shock?
I don't know what it is, and we've never actually gone and found out. I was just like, oh, I've got pain at my stump, there's that.
Yeah, because I'm going tomorrow, because I had a phone call when I was driving down from Birmingham, and I thought, please do not be the hospital.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them cancelling my appointment. And it's to do this new procedure.
Right.
Because they were saying that 85% of amputees suffer with phantom pain.
I don't remember what it was like to have.
Right, that's what
I
the
don't
key.
remember anything
That's the key.
before that. I've blocked it out.
Yeah, that's the key, because I didn't. It's very confusing to be in pain for something that's no longer there, and it's confusing and annoying actually. Do you know what I mean? Either give it me back, and I'll have the pain, or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Have it every day.
Yeah, 24/7.
Right.
24/7, but there's different degrees of pain, and this electric shock pain is the worst one. And it's just two separate pains. The first pain is like, the only way to describe how it feels is like that.
Right, okay.
At the end, all the time. And then there's different
At the
degrees.
bottom?
No, here.
Right,
No.
okay, where it's...
That's where my foot thinks it is. There.
Really there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird, because I never got phantom pain. They took the foot on the Friday, they took the leg on the Tuesday. I didn't get phantom pain till the Tuesday, and it was phantom pain for my foot, not my leg. It's never been my leg. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so this electric shock pain has got worse and worse and worse. It used to happen once or twice a year, and maybe last an evening where I'd have to take a load of morphine. But now it's happening like 3 or 4 times a month. It happened first 5 days of holiday.
So what, it's literally like someone's pulsing...
No, it's just electric shock.
What?
Just coming and coming and coming and coming. And you're so exhausted but you can't sleep because you've got this electric shock. I have to punch it. And then what that does is, which just sounds like a freak, what it does is, instead of it being as intense, it kind of makes it not as strong, but how many hours can you punch yourself for? You know what I mean? Not that many.
You don't really want to have to do it.
And the thing is, I dare ask Dave to punch me because he might.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so I could get the vibration on my stomach.
From a chair on her leg.
But I'm hoping tomorrow that he says that I'm an ideal candidate.
And what will they do?
They'll get the nerve, because what it is your nerve can regrow, and that's what's happened. So this nerve is regrew, which just sounds absolutely minging, and because my brain doesn't understand that that's no longer there, how the woman explained it to me at the pain clinic, which was really, really good. She says, in your brain you've got a mini body map, and that tells your brain's telling your body which bits move, this, that and the other.
Yeah.
And in my case, because it was an accident, the signal hasn't come here to tell it that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And the thing is, then you have memory in your brain and you have pain. And the reason we have pain is to tell yourself there's something wrong. And because that signal didn't cut off and go, right, the foot's not there, we can get rid of that. The pain's not there, we can get rid of that. And you've got your memory part. My brain still thinks that foot is crushed. That's what it thinks. And that's where the memory is from. The pain memory that I've got is whilst someone with that forklift the foot being crushed.
It's almost like the foot's everlast memory.
Yeah.
It's constantly
That's
on
it.
replay in your head.
That's it. And so what he hopes to do is, they get the nerve, because this nerve is like a toddler just going apeshit. They get the nerve and then tuck it into a muscle in the hope that it thinks it's got a job to do, and it's in a loop rather than being loose. They do it on all the army blokes, so you never know. I could be a Paralympian next year, do you know what I mean?
2020? Why
Do you know what I
not?
mean?
There's still time to
Well, it's
enter.
like, you just think, I'm an ideal candidate, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm the picture of health.
See, like, it's weird because you obviously lost yours so much later in life, and then I almost, something I've talked about the last few years, almost think I'm not like a real amputee. I know that sounds completely bonkers, but
what it
this
is
is my
I think
normal.
I class you as a hybrid.
What's that? Okay.
You're a hybrid, and I feel like a hybrid sometimes because if I go on a night out and I've got my leg, the false leg is a bit of a novelty.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a positive.
Yeah.
And so, you know, do other disabled people think I'm not disabled when I've got my leg on?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, some people like you might not class yourself as disabled. I personally do class myself as disabled because I'm less able and unable to do some of the things that I've previously done. Whereas I've had conversations. I had a conversation with this guy in B&M, and he went apeshit when I used the word disabled. He was on crutches with his leg missing. I want to say to him, have you got a blue badge? Because if you have, shut your mouth.
This competition.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think what it is like he was offended that I would think he was disabled. And that's not me being offensive, it's just that I'm classing myself as disabled. I've classed you as disabled, but tell me that you're not. And then that's it, you're
People
not.
aren't comfortable with the word disabled. The fact that you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But it's taken me a long, long time to get there and accept it because a lot of my trauma happened at a very, very young age. When I was saying to you earlier that I put it away.
Yeah.
There's shit that my mum and dad tell me and they're like, do you not remember this? Do you not remember? And I'm like, no. Because it's almost like my coping mechanism from having doctors prodding me and poking me and removing things when I was a kid, it's almost like my coping mechanism of it, and I'm a people pleaser as well, so I wanted to make sure mum and dad weren't too upset, is to just make sure that everything's okay, put it in a box, deal with that later.
Yeah.
But all of this stuff throughout my 20s started to come out.
Yeah.
And then when I was 24, I had an operation on my knee to correct the dislocation stuff. And I was back at home. I was been living in London, trained at drama school, moved home. Dad was bringing me my pain meds, my breakfast. He was taking me to the toilet. Mum was helping me shower. Dan was out at work because we were living together at the time. And it was almost like I'd gone back to being that child, but I had to surrender to it because I'd had quite an independent life up to that point-ish. Then I had to go straight back to it.
Yeah.
So through that, I think more of the trauma stuff came up. And that's when I had counselling. Because you can't... Mum and Dad were like, oh, well, she copes fine. She doesn't need counselling. But it was only when shit happened in my 20s that stuff started to reveal itself. That's when I felt I needed... And I started to accept myself as disabled.
It is.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of the... See, I accepted it very early on, the word disabled. I did accept it very early on.
Yeah.
When I was in hospital, I'll be honest, I didn't like him using the word amputee or stump.
Yeah.
Because literally, you've gone in... They've cut your foot off and the nurse is like, oh, hello, amputee stump lady or whatever. Do you know what I mean? The words are just using them. Immediately you're like, right, calm down, love. Hello. I had 2 feet when I come in, even though one was hanging off. Do you know what I mean? Hello, give me a chance to... I actually had it where when the amputee nurse came to me, she goes, right, you're going to go physio. I said, you're not putting me in there with a load of dangly legs hanging out. I'm not going in there. And she was like, well, don't worry, we'll get you in when no one's about. I thought, yeah, you better do and all. And then when I got there, there's all these dangly legs hanging out. Do you know what I mean? There was like loads of people in the waiting area, and I thought, what a bitch. But obviously she'd done it because she knew the sooner you accept it, the better. You know? And so it was really, really weird because when I went to the amputee centre, I then became obsessed with other people's stumps.
Did you?
Yeah, I've got this massive stump thing because why can't mine look like yours? Why is mine mangled? I could put my fingers in mine. No one has yet. Hello, Dave. Do you know what I mean? You know, I could put 2 fingers in mine. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that shouldn't be normal. Give me a nice one.
Do you let Dave touch your stump?
Yeah.
You do?
I
Just because I know that's a...
Does yours?
I never used to, and it's only been in the last
Is it
year.
because you think he's a freak and into them people?
No, because I was so protective of it. If anyone touches it, I'm almost like, fuck off.
Yeah,
It's a
mine
protection
is
thing, you know?
sensitive, and I'll be honest, I did look at Dave differently afterwards and think, are you one of them people who's into stumps? That's what I thought, because I thought, how can you be with me? You must like them. Do you know what I mean? Because they're everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Yeah. You've got people. You've got 2 lots of people.
Male nurse, didn't you?
No, what had happened was, One of my, the lady who made my false legs, she said that years before, the guy who made the false legs, he was into him.
Oh my God.
The thing is, I'm not joking, when you have above knee, yeah, you're virtually getting internal when they're fitting you for a new leg. Because you're there being violated, thinking, is this normal? Because the false leg goes in your doodah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like, because you know I went, and this is so gross, I went to get a new leg, yeah, and they always say, bring shorts. I never do. But it's like in hospital. The surgeon had to go at the nurses because I never had pants on. Do you know what I mean? My mum bought these massive apple cutters, do you know what I mean? It's like, because the nurse was getting in trouble. Every time I went down theatre, got no underwear on. But it's like, I'm sorry, Lord, my legs, you know, hello, I'm not really bothered about underwear at this particular moment. Went with my mum, and obviously you have to walk up the parallel bars, don't you? And I went like that, and I got a massive hole in my knickers. Right, and it's like, oh my God. He'd gone out, and I went to my mum, I was like, oh my God, I've got a massive hole in my pants. She went, that's the least of your worries. Your pubes are all hanging out. It's like, are you fucking joking? So then I'm like, right. It's like, and I've got to carry on walking up and down for him.
Yeah. With your everything.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, why have you even brought you, Mum? Do you know what I mean? Thanks a lot. When I had the last operation, I had to start visitors coming because it went wrong. I was only supposed to be in a day. It went wrong. They did the...
Which opposite?
When I went above knee.
Right.
I pretended that I based it on speaking to above knee amputees and that this was the best thing for me. The truth was, I hated so much what my stump looked like, and I thought that I was going to get a nice one.
So you had the accident, they removed the foot. That's
Yeah.
in the first year.
What happened was, the foot on the Friday,
Yeah.
4 days later, the leg below the knee. And then what happened was, because I'd got no skin or fat on the stump, up really above my knee, that was skin grafts.
Okay.
It literally looked like, you know when you look at a embryo,
Yeah.
that's what it looked like, embryo leg, that's what I want to call it, embryo leg, that's what it looked like.
Do you mean a fetus?
Yeah, that.
Fetus.
Well, what's an embryo?
It's the egg which fertilises.
Yeah, so when the
You mean like a
fetus,
little alien-looking thing?
yeah, that fetus leg. Oh, that's
That's what I thought, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, fetus leg, but that
Weird skin.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And so for me, it was just so repulsive. I never saw the stump as being part of me. It's not part of me. It's this thing that's attached to me that was so gross. And then I'm expected to accept that and what it looks like. If it looked like a stump that's nice, with the nice stitches, and it just looked like the rest of your leg was invisible, thank you very much, I'll have one of them, please. Mine didn't. And so the amputee centre said, don't do it. Don't have the operation. That's what they said.
Did they?
And I ignored him because I wanted a nice stump. And then
So
I
that
didn't.
was the only reason you had it done, is because you wanted a nice stump?
Yeah,
Not because they said, oh, we need to take more off?
no, that's right.
I see.
That's what I told myself at the time, though.
That's
I was
why-
telling myself it was the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Because they were saying you'll spend a lot, but I spent a lot of time. Over the last 10 years, I've spent 3 years, when you group together the long periods, I've spent 3 years in the wheelchair because of weight gain, because walking as an above knee is on a completely different wavelength altogether. And it's irritating. It was so good. You go shopping, try and shoes on, take your leg off, put the shoe on, put your leg back on. Do you know what I mean? As an above knee, at the minute I'm having to wear a big strap. Do you know what I mean? To hold it on, and even with a silicone sock, because do you wear a silicone sock?
No, I tried it, I didn't get on with it.
What's you got?
So I've got,
Oh, so you've got.
that, which is these
Oh,
M&S
so you-
thermal socks, they're fantastic.
I thought they were
They're
football
not.
socks.
No. Well, yeah, they are, effectively, yeah.
So.
So I've got the liner, a sock, and then that.
See, I'm trying to think as to.
To see mine is
Oh,
quite
see, how
far
come
down.
yours is fat then?
Because
that?
of this stupid
No, like this. I mean, how come yours is
because
fat?
it's like a
This is
mesh
the whole
it.
sock. This is
Yeah.
like a whole socket.
It's because he wanted to make a calf. Can you see the calf shape?
Yeah.
So my blue one, which I've been waiting 27 fucking years for, right, which is my new one, is just the plain socket with a lovely blue sparkly thing, right? I've been going to Cardiff for 27 years. I said to him, can I have a colourful one? Can I have a colourful one? No, you can't. No, you can't.
Why
We
not?
can't
Because
do
they've
it.
only got to use any lycra.
No, we can't do it. We can't
That's
do it.
bullshit, man. Because
Recently I said to him, I'm getting put up for more jobs. I said, around the leg, please can I have one? Yeah, no problem, I'll go get the magazines.
Magazines? They have magazines where you pick
Yeah,
from?
catalogue.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's what I looked at the other day.
I'm gonna
So I
go
says to him,
get a rubber leg.
All right. Okay,
bullshit, Dave. You're going for a fag.
I'm not. Check on it.
I says to him the other day, yeah, because he did me an ankle, and I want an ankle. Don't give me a cankle, mate. I want an ankle. You know what I mean? Yours is a cankle. I'm sorry, yours is a
But
cankle.
you know,
That's
did
what
you
I
see my
noticed.
stump at the bottom? It's like a bulbous
Yeah,
thing.
yours is thin.
Yeah. So in order for the ankle to, I suppose, be an ankle, they have to make it fatter compared to my other leg, because the bottom of the stump is so, you see?
Oh
it's
yeah.
quite fat.
Can I touch it?
Yeah.
It's very
It's quite
strange.
cold. So that's the
It's
bottom
like
of
a
my foot.
dick. It's like a dick. Mine looks like a dick.
Yeah, they all look like dicks. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but yours is nice on the end.
Well, that's the bottom of my foot.
Oh, see, right. So
Do you see what I mean?
yeah. Oh, so this right. I'm touching your foot.
So you're
Thanks.
touching all of that there.
Fucking thanks for that, love. Point that out. So this is actually your heel, is it? Your
Effectively,
heel.
Yeah. They don't.
Well, now you've said that. That looks like a heel.
So when we do this scene like where the stump's being cleaned underwater, and
Mhm.
we'll get the makeup artist to make it look like it's fresh.
Mhm.
Like, are you okay with that? Like,
Yeah.
just because you said you're quite sensitive about people touching
I
it.
used to be.
Are you
I'm
okay?
much
Oh
better.
yeah, boundaries, Lisa. There's me like, oh, let me touch it.
So how long ago did you meet? Like, how old were you, and how did you meet? And
Well,
if you
Dave
don't
was
mind me
dead old,
asking?
wasn't you?
No.
And he lied about his age actually,
Dead
because
old.
he knew I would definitely wouldn't go out with him if he.
Yeah.
And he had a tooth missing. I mean, what the fuck? My standards were low. Do you know what I mean? You did have a tooth missing,
Oh,
Dave. You had a tooth missing for ages.
Oh.
I didn't turn up on our first date with no money at all.
Is not.
Well, he didn't have none. He didn't have a bus fare for it. He turned up at my front door, thought, mate, if my mum sees you, it is over. 'Cause he had skin-tight black trousers on with white socks that you could see, lace-up shoes and a black jacket. I thought, oh my God, my mum's going to kill me.
It was 1992.
Was it?
My mum's, he told me that he was 26, but he wasn't, he was 29.
Yeah.
Why did you lie? Why did you say you were 26?
Because I knew that she was a lot younger.
Oh,
How
yeah.
old was I? Was I 18 or 19?
18.
But I know that his family gave me loads of shit like just changing nappy and stuff like that. It's like, I'm sorry, let's turn it around, shall we, Grandad? Or back in. So
you
yeah,
were
but
18, he was 20.
yeah, and I got pregnant very quickly.
Yeah.
The thing is that I'd always said to Dave, I'll never marry her. I'll never marry her because you're a bit of a knobhead, do you know what I mean? I'll never marry her,
No.
even though we'd got a kid.
Yeah.
She didn't.
But
Yeah.
after I had my accident, I pushed, because in your mind you think this person is going to leave you. This person's going to leave you, and you don't realise the kind of how nasty you are. And so I think it's that thing where you push because you think that's going to be what happens anyway.
Right.
And because we've got,
Is it like a protection thing?
yeah, and then you can say to everybody, told you.
Told you.
But he wouldn't have been leaving me because I'd had an accident. We were leaving me because I was a witch. Do you know what I mean? I was just a horrible person. You know, but we spoke to two guys yesterday, didn't we? And one of them said, I mean, he was probably about my age, and he was saying that his dad had a serious work accident and his personality changed. And he
Right.
became quite bitter and nasty. And that was me for a while. Because when you've got somebody to blame, you're focusing on that
Television.
rather than thinking, right, well, this has happened, you know. But I was lucky in the fact that I got a lot of counselling, you know, so I was very lucky in that respect. The periods where I was down, it was as though I was losing myself. I wasn't me. If I can find the pictures, there's pictures of me and what I would wear. I like wearing very tarty clothing. I like wearing provocative clothing. There's a picture of me taken at the Amputee Centre, and literally it's like, who are you? What are you wearing? What's happened to you?
Yeah.
It's as though I'd completely lost my identity. Do you know what I mean? It was just so weird. And it got worse. Obviously, we're only covering the first year. It got worse when I became above knee. But it was like, well, the clothes that I wore, the makeup I wore, the hair that I wore was my identity, and I hadn't got that, so I was really confused by that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was as though I turned into a different person. You could say something to me today, and we laugh about it, and say the same thing to me tomorrow, and I'll rip your head off. And that's how it was. And the things that I used to come out with, which is just so nasty, I'd say, I wish he'd killed me. Do you know what I mean? And you think you're protecting your child who's upstairs listening to every single word that you say. You know, I was a very, very strict mum, strict mum. So I was very, very strict on him. And then when the accident happened, I couldn't get a crap.
Yeah.
So I was too busy worrying about me.
Yeah.
You know, and so how he's got Kieran in the film is just so good because it sums up that someone can say something to you one day where, you know, they've made a joke, oh, your mum's this, that and the other, which they probably said about other people's mums.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Well, your mum's fat then, and this, that and the
Yeah.
other, you know. But the rage that Kieran had was so extreme, it was unbelievable. And I can remember 3 incidences. One, we only found out a few years ago where someone had egged our front door, and we asked Kieran about it and said, do you know anything about that? He was like, no. We found out he went and bricked their windows in. You know, there was another time when I was coming back from the Amputee centre, and he rang from a house phone and was like, what the hell, why not at school? And 2 men had been waiting for him outside school with baseball bats. So what he was doing, he was going from being this kid to doing what the hell he wanted. We ain't got a clue. We're too busy worrying about Dave, trying to worry about Kieran, worry about me, worry about bills, you know, and so, and so you think that, I suppose in Kieran's mind, in a way, he liked the freedom, but then he was doing what he wanted. Do you know what I mean? And so.
But also seeing his mum go from being his
Yeah.
mum to this broken person, and when you have your parents who you look up to and you love, and then you see them go through something
you see them as, this is mum, this is dad, and then everything's changed.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was one of them, even to the point of, you know, I still am a money grabber, but I was always doing overtime. Any overtime, I was doing it. And so worked really, really hard. I'd ring Kieran up and say, right, we're going to be back late tonight, Kieran, so you need to hoover up, you need to do this, you need to do that. The lads at work constantly, oh, you a bitch you are, you're making him do everything. No, there is chores, and that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And so from when I had the accident, Kieran didn't do anything, because Dave was at home. So Dave was doing everything with that respect. You know, we were then eventually on benefits, stopping at home all day. Yeah. So he'd gone from having 2 parents who worked to 2 parents who did nothing, you know, in his mind. And so even looking up, in my mind, I think that I would have been so embarrassed if I ever got a disciplinary at work, or God, if I got sat, I'd be devastated. Yeah. But for Kieran, he'd lost that part, if you get what I mean. Yeah. You know, and so if he's got sat, we've got sat. And I'm like, oh my God, if that happened to me.
Devastation.
You know, it's just that it's just weird how everything changed so completely. So for him, everything changed. You know, and obviously we still weren't living
at an age where he's trying to deal with everything that's going on with him
as
a teenager, and then his family unit has just gone.
But I've always had a temper, but it escalated, and so for Kieran to see that and think that behaviour is okay when it isn't, and that's a problem. Do you know what I mean? And so for us, that's the sad thing about the situation that we're in, is that this is what's been created through that, whether it be the blame of whoever.
It's not just losing your leg.
Yeah. To me, that's where I have guilt. Because I wish that I would have realised what was going on with him, and then I would have changed my behaviour accordingly. Because in some respects we hid things from him, and so in some respects he can't handle things. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, guess what? Shit happens. Do you know what I mean? But then in other respects, you know, I should have been more mother in that period. I wish that I had. Do you know what I mean? Rather than taking such a back seat. Because it's not in Dave's nature. That wasn't his role as a dad. You know, you just get a fun one and an horrible one. I was the horrible one. Do you know what I mean? I was still the horrible one, but I just weren't participating in any parenting. You know, and so it's difficult.
So what was it like for you when all of this was going on? I mean, it wasn't going to be a picnic, was it? But
for me, it was weird because obviously, like Lisa said, nobody bothers about you. You're pushed into the background.
yeah,
You know, everything is about Lisa.
yeah,
You know, everybody that visited. You know, me and Kieran are sort of like, as more and more people turn up, me and Kieran are pushing further and further back. You know, to the point where we would very often say, well, we can go and get something to eat now, because obviously Lisa's got visitors.
yeah,
So we would take a step back and we would go get something to eat, which was when me and Kieran had our time together, sort of thing. Because obviously neither of us was sleeping very well for the first month while she was in hospital. But, you know, we didn't talk to each other, which we should have done. But like I say, I'm not that sort of person. I don't talk. You know, my dad was always, you know, it was like that.
just get on
So
with it.
we didn't talk. Which
Me and Kieran do.
Yeah.
Me and Kieran do. But obviously at that point you don't. I'm going to take my tablets.
But yeah, for both me and Kieran, we both took a step back when she was having other visitors, because obviously it gets you out of the way.
Yeah,
And I'm not trying to be nasty or anything now.
Really, I'm going to
But-
listen very closely now, Dave.
When you're visiting somebody in hospital, it's the hardest thing, because what can you talk about? You know, you don't know what to say. Obviously, we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what to say. You know, half the time Lisa was just pressing a button because she didn't want to talk to anybody anyway.
No, the morphine drip. I loved it.
You know, then she was out.
yeah,
So basically, you just sat there
yeah.
watching her.
Did you have a lot of anger around everything that had happened?
Tell the truth.
At first, I remember the first night that I went, when Lisa, we both went in the ambulance,
Yeah,
because obviously I knew the lad that did it before, and I knew that he lived somewhere near the hospital that we went to. So it was, while I was sat there on my own outside, and obviously I know Lisa's being operated on, the bloke's just told us that the likelihood she's going to lose a foot, and didn't have anybody. Nobody from work came to sit, to sit with me, say anything. So at the time, I didn't really know a great deal anyway.
all you're left with is your head and your thoughts.
So it was one of them, do I go round and see him? And I argued with that for at least probably 2 hours. Then luckily, like I say, one of our friends turned up. He'd gone to the night shift, turned up, heard what had happened, that nobody was with me, and he just said, right, fuck you, I'm out. And he walked out.
When I look back now, I'd quite happily walk alongside my friend, chat with them. They're driving the forklift. Well, you wouldn't do that in the road, would you, with a car?
No.
And so that was common practice there. And when I went in there, I was scared, because all these forklifts are driving in there and everywhere. I was scared, but I thought, this is normal. Am I being a wet blanket because I'm a girl, and and I'm not used to this?
Yeah.
So even if I probably would have seen stuff that was dangerous, I probably wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
Because I
You
wasn't
sort of see
sure.
it, but you don't.
Yeah, I wasn't sure as to whether this was normal, and I was just being a bit sensitive.
Yeah.
You look at a forklift and you don't think it's as as dangerous as a car.